Never. And one of the things I do try to do, um, don't don't discount the level of don't discount the persuasiveness of argument too far. I get what you're saying. What I've been having some success with is entering in the conversation through the lens of the populist left. Mamdani, Brandon Johnson, um, AOC is kind of she's actually a little bit comical, but what I do is I talk about why they were so successful. Why did they win? Why were they so successful? And you talk about affordability, you talk about cost of living, but also you're talking about an establishment that was deaf to the concerns of people. Both parties, they're both to blame. And you'll find 9 times out of 10, you're going to find the leftist is right there with you. And then at some point, you could talk, you can push that to the point where at some point you could say, if you look back at 2016, 2020, 2024, there's very little difference in his rhetoric, Mamdani's rhetoric, than from Trump, especially when he's taking on the establishment, when he's taking on how government has failed us, how our politicians have failed us. That's a populist rhetoric. And there's a populist left and there's a populist right. And then all of a sudden they can go, oh, okay. All of a sudden now they see from their own world, their own lens, why Trump was so popular. And you do that. And I found that during the Biden years, I found that the more I was able to have a discussion centering on the populist left and then pivot and show, but a lot of those dynamics were operative in getting Trump to a lot. I did this with Bernie Sanders all the time. If you look at the rhetoric of Bernie Sanders and you compare it to the rhetoric, as a matter of fact, I bet I can find parts of speeches when they're talking about economy, when they're talking about a political establishment that's turned a blind eye, a deaf ear to you, that doesn't care about you. They only care about their own, wealth, and they only care about their own power, and they only care about their own, people who are signing checks for them and all that sort of stuff. Again, I bet I can pull out an excerpt from one of their speeches, and you couldn't tell me who said it. Was it Trump or Bernie? You might think it was Bernie Sanders, but it could have been Trump. So that's the populism there. So I would do that, but definitely we can do something on Bolvism as well. Bolverism. I have to learn to say it. Mitchell, Dr. Steve, how can Trump stop blue state governments from not allowing the big, beautiful bill to affect their states, such as no tax on tips and refusing to tax it? He can cut off the money. He can cut off the federal government has a lot of power. The executive government has a lot of power to cut off money. A lot. And people often say, well, no, but it's Congress. Only Congress can. Executive branch could do a lot to cut off money. And they're already doing it. They're doing it in California. They're doing it in Minneapolis and Minnesota. So just cut off their money. Turn off the spigot, as they say. Chip, the enlightened. What damage do you think the GOP anti-Trumpers and Israeli, the cause of everything, will do to Trump-Vance legacy? I don't think much, to be honest with you. I may be naive on there. I think more than anything, it's an influencer war.